everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is MTG Ghoul Dude, and today we're going to be doing another deck tech. This is a deck I've been playing for a while. I've been tweaking it here and there, and I feel like I'm finally ready to just go on ahead and show it to y'all. It's a more of a, I like to do off theme, off of what you usually see, off the beaten path type decks with more popular commanders. So this is my Korvold Goblin deck. Now, if you don't know, Korvold, the Fae-Cursed King, for 2 generic, a black, a red, and a green, he is flying. He's a Dragon Noble, 4/4. Whenever he enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. Does not say, any specific. And whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1 counter on him and draw a card. Now, you're going to notice when it comes to the card advantage section, it's a little thin because the commander is what we're looking to do that with. Alright, so let's go on ahead and get into it. We're going to go on ahead and start off with our ramp, Arcane Signet, Commander Sphere, because we can sacrifice the Commander Sphere. Crop Rotation is a good trigger for Korvold. Dockside Extortionist, just a #1 staple for Goblin and red decks alike. Goblin and Archomancer is going to help us get our red and green spells out a little bit quicker. Harrow, Ignoble Hierarch, into the north because we are playing some snowlands, so that does help a little bit. Mindstone, Old Gnawbone is actually in the ramp section because he, with flying and creatures dealing damage, guess what? It does a lot of good. Rampant Growth, Secure Tribe Elder. He's not a goblin per se, but he's an honorary goblin for this deck. Soul Ring, Talisman of Impulse, Talisman of Indulgence, Talisman of Resilience, 3 visits, and Wayfarer's Bauble for that sack effect. The ramp is pretty hard in this section because we are trying to get Korvold out there pretty hard. Now into the main theme of the deck. We have a Beetleback Chief to make goblins tokens, 2 goblin 1/1 goblin tokens. Conspicuous Snoop to help play those goblin spells a little bit quicker off the top. Dragon Fodder for the goblin tokens. Goblin Guide, I actually have a different version of this Goblin Guide in the deck, but it is the the Double Masters box topper version of the Goblin Guide that a friend of mine traded for me to trade for him. Goblin Instigator, pay for 2, so you bring one with it. Goblin King, other goblins get +1/+1 and have Mountain Walk. I currently don't have a way to give the other players Mountain Walk, but red is one of those colors that people like to play in some of their more casual decks, and this is, I call it a more casual deck, but there are some cutthroat ways to win. Goblin Matron, just in case you really need to search up for a goblin. Goblin Trashmaster it's a lord for our goblins, and you can sack a goblin to destroy target pesky artifact. Goblin Warchief gets goblins out a little bit quicker. Hordling Outcast, make 3 goblins for 3 mana. It's a pretty good deal for me. Impulsive Pilferer, this will come back twice, so you play it, sack it, encore it, sack them again. Krenko's Command, make 2 goblins for 2. And Krenko himself. I actually decided to put Krenko in here because it just fit so well with the deck and it made so much fodder for Korvold. Pitiless Plunderer, because no matter what dies on your side, you're going to get something out of it. Prosh is in here because this was originally a Prosh Goblin deck, even though it makes Kobolds. But nonetheless, it does have a great ability where you can just pump him up and sack a bunch of dudes and trigger Korvold, make Korvold huge, and just swing at 2 different players and win the game. Siege Gang Commander makes goblins for 5 and a 2/2. So, 5 power for 5 mana is not pretty bad. and then it has its own sack outlet on itself. Skirk Prospector, sack goblins for red mana, which we do have an abundant of red color spells in the deck. Skull Clamp for that draw. Swiftfoot Boots to protect Korvold. Vexing Shusher, it's a goblin, can't be countered, and if you really just need to be political about it, you can keep your opponents from countering other spells of your opponents. Viscera Seer, not a goblin, but he does do a good job at sacrificing. Whisper Silk Cloak, it'll give Korvold unblockable and Shroud, so that's really important. And then we have another contender for this deck, Zeotora the Incinerator. Now, I didn't really have a lot to do with the fling, but I feel like if there was a way to fling, Korvold could do it because he's already sacrificing. And then we're going to come back up to our card advantage. Demonic Lore, I'm really high on this card in this deck because play it for 3 and then sacrifice it when you go to attack with Korvold, so you really don't have to deal with that in-step effect. Yeah, that's just pay 3, draw 3 for me. Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2 at random, and flashback. Painful Truths, whenever you draw X cards and you lose X life. We are playing a 3-color deck, and this is a 3-color spell, in my opinion. I mean, usually I'm not casting this for anything less than green, black, red to get the full effect. Plumb the Forbidden, as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy the spell for each creature sacrificed this way. So if I'm about to get blown out with a board wipe, guess what? If I have this in hand, I'm about to be drawing a lot of cards to refill my hand. Seize the Spoils, just a good sack, just a good discard a card to make a treasure I can sack to draw 3 cards. Shamanic Revelation, I am hoping to get a lot of good goblins on the board to make sure I can just flood it and draw a bunch of cards. Shared Summons, this is actually part of the combo section. This is it's multifunctional because I can use it to go get something that can get something. But if I need to get particular pieces, this is what Shared Summons is in there for. Because we are playing a 99 singleton deck, so it looks like we'll probably be able to get anything we want, unless we're playing, anything that says there's no deck restriction. And then we're going on to the removal. Assassin's Trophy, Beast Within, Go for the Throat, Golgari Charm with its abilities to do multiple things, including destroy target enchantment, regenerate each creature you control, or give all creatures -1/-1. Hero's Downfall, Putrefy, Return to Nature for artifacts and enchantments we can't get rid of naturally. Seal of Primordium goes really good in Korvold because you can just sack it, draw a card, maybe pull another removal spell, and then terminate. And now we're going to get into some of our combo pieces. So most of the combo revolves around either Murderous Redcap or Putrid Goblin in any of the pieces that are in the deck that allows you to just take the counters off. So most importantly, Grumgully is going to allow you to do that. I did have I had the other green creature that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield and it gets a counter. Also, I had the Great Henge in here, but I realized that in order to keep this from being just like a super overly powered deck and getting hated off the table every game, I probably needed to limit those enablers down a little bit. And then the finishers will either be Goblin Bombardment, Impact Tremors, Palakshmons, or Sling Gang Lieutenant with their abilities to, when a creature dies, it'll trigger it to dealing 1 damage to any target. Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent when it enters, and Goblin Bombardment when you sack them. Sling Gang Lieutenant whenever you sacrifice Goblin, target player loses life, so effectively you can just drain the whole table out. And then we're going to get into the land base. The land base is a little bit more, I would say, on the expensive side because this is a deck that I've been putting a lot of resources into as I've been playing it. So we're just going to go on ahead and go down the list with Blood Crypt, Bloodstained Mire, City of Brass, Command Tower, Fable Passage because it does trigger the Korvold, Mana Confluence, Myriad Landscape, Nurturing Peatland, Overgrown Tomb, Prismatic Vista, Reliquary Tower because you definitely want to have all the cards in your hand and be able to use them. Savage Lands. Like I said, we are playing Into the North, so we are going to run some snow covers, and all of the snow covers in the deck are basic lands that are coming in untapped, or they're coming in from Into the North. So we got 6 forests, 10 mountains because our red is heavy in the deck, 2 swamps, a stomping ground, a tech edge because we can sacrifice it, Verdict Catacombs, and a wooded foothills. And a Zeotor's Proving Ground because it does have the neat cycling ability. And Zeotor's in the deck, so I figured it would be kind of flavorful. But that's all that's going to be it, guys. Right now, the price of this deck is about $495. I'm sure it could be done on a better budget. If you want to see me try to make this on a better budget, let me know in the comment section down below. Because I can tune this down, and I can probably make it a little bit better, too. But that's going to be all for the day, guys. I appreciate y'all coming and watching. And if there's anything you want to leave down, any tips and tricks you got for any of you other Korvold players you want to let me know, leave it down in the comment section below. And I will see you guys in the next time in the graveyard.